Okay, this was my first time making soap, and I'm so excited with how it went. And it's like so silky and smooth when you use it. And so I'm going to go through the three main mistakes that I made and how it affected the soap. So to start off with, I had the recipe. The recipe, I had 38% water. That was the water weight, and I needed it to be less. And so as you can see over here, I am trying to make a design on the top of the soap, the soap batter that I've already put into my DIY molds, which is a silicone bread loaf with, those are just other silicone dishes or containers or baking stuff. But I tried and tried, and you can see this where I keep on trying to make designs like swirls, and I go this way, then I try that way and try to make the design. But the problem is because I had so much water, it was not setting up fast enough for me to be able to do any designs on it. Now you will notice a little bit that it it starts to get a little bit thicker, but um, not thick enough for me to be able to do any design. And you're going to see this in the finished product. There isn't going to be much of a texture on the top. Now, I did, from these mistakes in this first batch of soap making, I made a second batch of soap and I reduced the water from 38% to 33%. And my batter, I was racing against time and I was panicking because I kept on thinking I'm not going to be getting it in time. And it was like, you know how you make pudding and it really sets really fast after a while? And it's like, I'm not going to be able to spread it properly, or I'm not going to be able to put it into the molds, um, in this case for the soap. But I was able to do it. And I was able to make some like swirls on the top. I'm still learning how to do all that jazz, but I was so excited. Just reducing the water content to 33. Now over here you see, because I had so much water, it was hard first to unmold, and then also I was losing pieces of the soap, like the corners and stuff. And if you can see on the surface of the soap bar log, I'm not sure what it's called, you can see the moisture, like it's slimy. Now that was completely different from my second batch where I did not have that evidence of the extra moisture. Now this did take me a long time for it to set enough for me to unmold it. It took about 60 hours. Yes, usually it takes about 24 hours, but mine took about 60 hours or so. And I guess I could have let it go a little bit longer, but I had to keep on wiping my fingers because it was just sticky. And then because it had so much water, so much moisture, this made it harder to cut. And you're going to see as I cut, um, trying to cut it properly and trying to do a good job of cutting, but it was really hard. Now, this brings me to the fact that I should have planned. So that's mistake number one was the recipe. Mistake number two is the fact that I did not plan how I was going to cut it. So for one, I have that knife and I should have used a longer knife or a bigger knife. Secondly, I didn't plan how I was going to cut it before I started cutting. And you're going to notice as I cut, so you can see how hard it is to take off the knife because of the moisture content. It's like it was really sticky, really moist on the inside, and so it was really adhering to the knife. Now, if I had done a better job of planning how I was going to cut it, yes, I don't have the real soap molds, but if I had planned it, then I would have cut it differently. And with my second batch, I planned how I was going to cut it beforehand. And I guess many times you don't really know until you go through your first trial, you go through your first batch, you try it. And then that's when you figure out, okay, what you were going to do, what you did wrong, and what you can fix. So I'm glad that I did this batch despite the mistakes that I made, because those mistakes helped me improve with my second batch. Now, was my second batch perfect? No, it wasn't, but it was much better than my first one. And you're going to notice as I keep on cutting that because it was so moist, that I had to be careful of, after I cut it and take it off the knife, maintaining its shape. Okay. And because it was still quite soft, I mean, you can't tell that it was soft right here, but after I take it off the knife, it kind of, instead of being smooth on the bottom, it got deformed. It got messed up. And if you can see at the bottom of the soap where I cut, you can see that line from the knife, and also on this part that I cut, you can tell. And see, here I am trying to shape and put the shape back uh, because it was just so soft and it wasn't keeping its shape. And as you can notice on the knife, I have plenty. Now, this brings me on to mistake number 3. My temperature. I dithered on this because I wasn't sure about the temperature. I kept on confusing myself. Um, and what I found out was my oil cooled. It should have been much hotter when I added the lye and water solution, because the lye and water solution itself was already pretty warm. Even though I let it sit out for 10 minutes outside after I did it, it was still quite warm. Like the container was warm to the touch, but my oil had cooled down so fast that when I added the lye, it kind of caused some issues in itself. So with my second batch, I put them together. So as soon as my oil melted, I went and did my lye. I didn't wait like I did with this batch, waiting for my oil to cool down. I went and did my lye solution and then waited 10 minutes before I could bring the lye in to continue. And then I added it into the oil, which was still hot. And that was so much better. Now, because of that, and my being a novice, I thought that I got to trace. Now, one thing that I wish I had done is paid more attention to what the trace looked like, because I thought I knew. And yes, I did pay attention, but when I'm actually doing it, you kind of start second guessing yourself. And because the temperature the temperature was wrong, the oil was wrong, when I did my cold process, it caused crystallization. And so having the correct temperature or having the incorrect temperature actually affected 2 things. The cold process not coming to trace fast, and hot process crystallizing before it actually did its thing. So I was able to figure out how to solve it. So for this, I just added more water and let it cook some more, so it melted down all the grit and became this smooth batter paste that looks like Vaseline. So that was cool to do and cool to learn. So then I put the scent in and mixed that all in. Now, for my second batch, I did go ahead and just do a cold process, and I made sure that my temperatures were right. So my soap, my water, or my oil was hot at the same time as my lye water solution. And so here you see I put them in this, which brings me to my 4th mistake. Is kind of a bonus mistake, and it's 2 sides of the same coin. So I should have focused on either doing this fully cold process, or alternatively, I should have divided up the soap batter evenly or somewhat evenly into a cold process and a hot process so that I would have more soap. Because as you can see, the soap right here is not much, but we were excited to try it and it was cool using it. So I only got 3 bars. They're small bars, but it was cool to get. And so that was something that I need to do for next time. Now my second uh, soap processing, I only did a cold process, and and I was able to use the 2 silicone bread molds for the whole batch. So the soaps were a decent size, and now despite all the mistakes that I made with this batch, I am so glad that I did it because I learned from my mistakes and my second batch was even better. Not that it was perfect, but it was much better than this one. Now, as you can see over here, I am lathering my hands with soap that's not cured, and it's getting quite a bit of lather. And as per my research, the drier it gets, the more lather it produces. And right now we're using it, they're cured and they're nice and dry, and we're still leaving them. They're not wrapped up. We're still letting them keep on drying so they'll last longer. But the lather that they produce is so luxurious to the skin. And yeah, it just feels so good. So, for any of you making soap or wanting to do something for the first time, don't be afraid of making the mistakes. In fact, rejoice in making the mistakes because you're going to learn from the mistakes that you make. Keep track of the mistakes you make and try and kind of evaluate what the mistakes, what effect the mistakes made. And because I'm experimenting with tallow and using tallow, I also made, as I told you previously, I made tallow body butter. And so just using the tallow body butter body cream on top of the tallow soap, it is, your skin feels so good. Now we do have an issue with hard water, but despite that, oh my word, your skin feels so good. And so I'm going to encourage you, mamas, when you make, when you start something new, you're learning to do something new, whether it's something that you're going to continue or just something because you've had an interest in it, go for it. Learn from it. Learn from the mistakes. So here's the batch. The previous picture you saw was a batch from the hot process. This is the cold process, number one, and then this is the cold process, the second one. As you can see, it's kind of like a sort of design on the top. They're smoother, they're thicker. They are smaller only because I don't have the proper mold. But I am so excited to keep on learning and keep on developing my soap making skills. So, if this is you who wants to make and learn something, go for it. Do not shy away from something because you made mistakes, and do not be discouraged because of the mistakes you made. In turn, use the mistakes to make it even better. Use the mistakes to strive more, to kind of push your boundaries so that you can keep on developing and keep on enjoying being creative. Well, that's it for now, mamas. Thanks for watching this, and I hope that I was able to help you with anything. Or if you have any tips and you're a seasoned soap maker, please put it down below. Thank you. Bye.